Hello and welcome to a Tomcast from my car. I'm Tom, president and dictator for life of 515comics.com. So it's Monday. I just got back yesterday from a great con experience that I had wanted to talk about. I went to the ICON for the first time. Now there's a little bit of confusion in Iowa. We have two conventions called the ICON. One is the Iowa Comic Book Club ICON, or the Comic Book Icon, as it is known for short. And then there's also the Sci-Fi ICON, which is just known as ICON, which has, I guess, been around for 42 years. This was the 42nd ICON. It's the longest running convention in Iowa. It is a science fiction convention, as I mentioned before, and as I've talked about in previous Tomcasts. And I wasn't really sure how it was going to go down. I wasn't really sure if it being more science fiction centered would be good or bad, because I figured I would be among very few comic book sellers there, and I was. And so I did not know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. Historically, sometimes it's a very good thing, and sometimes it's a very bad thing, and it just kind of depends on the audience. This audience, however, seemed to really like what I had to offer. I haven't checked the numbers, but I think this is the most books I've ever sold at a single event, which is pretty great. That makes me feel really good when I come home with a lot fewer books than I went in with. In fact, I almost sold out of a couple books because I didn't have very many to begin with. So that's great. I always tell myself, well, if I sold out of these, would I be happy with the amount of money I made? And the answer was yes. And the answer is, man, I'm really happy with the amount of money I made. Actually, there were a couple sales at this show that I was very surprised by, because some of my products have been doing very poorly, and there's been very little interest where I expected there would be more. And this show had interest in those items, and I sold many of those items, and that's great. So those would be the masks. Even though the masks, for a long time, people asked me, when are you going to start making those? When I was taking them to comic shows this year, there was very lukewarm interest. But at this show, there were people who were like, that mask is really cool. It sounds like it comes from a really cool character. I want to learn more about the story and these characters. I may have encouraged some Wayward Cry cosplay from this weekend, which makes me a pretty happy dude. Anyway, yeah, it was really just a great time. So some thoughts about the show itself. It is a different show than I'm used to doing. It's definitely more of I don't really know what to compare it to. I've not really been to a show like this before. I did several years ago, Ryan Morrow and I did a panel at Demicon, which is actually put on by the same parent company, and it's also a science fiction convention. And basically, it's just, the layout is very different from like a Comic-Con or other conventions that I've been to, or even other book events that I've been to. This convention seems to be more built around the actual like panels and discussions and maybe viewings. I don't really know. I did not actually get a membership, so I didn't like go around and check out the other rooms and what was going on. I spoke on a few panels, but other than that, I don't really know what people were doing at the show. The vendor room was just one small part of the event, though, and was not even open during all operating hours of the con. The con was just throughout different parts of the hotel, and other things were going on at all times. So that's a little different from what I'm used to. I'm used to the convention floor, the vendor floor, kind of being the main draw. Just a very different feel. Everybody was very friendly. It had a very kind of hey, this is all our family kind of deal, where it's like everybody knows everybody sees everybody at this show. And that's a positive in that everybody's very friendly and welcoming, and it's very exciting to be a part of it. It might be kind of a negative in that I don't know how well I would do going to this show year after year without having new product mix. I think that if I continue putting out more books, and if I continue making more merchandise that is sci-fi fantasy related to my comic, that I'm going to have people who are interested in what it is and who are interested in buying it. But I do feel like because it was a bit of a smaller attendance and it seems like it is the same people who are going year after year. And I mean, I don't know. I went 1 year. That's one thing that I think if I'm going to do this again next year, I better have some new stuff out because I might be able to get some new people to buy from me who didn't this year. And there will certainly be some new people who come to the show. But what I'd really like to do is have return customers who want to keep up with the series and keep up with what I'm doing. And I feel like this could be a very good show for that kind of audience. Anyway, I don't want this to get too long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off there. I just wanted to end with, like, this exceeded all of my expectations. It was a very profitable show for me, and now I actually have some capital to work with so that I can do the rest of my shows this year and also, you know, start investing in new projects and spend some time and money on doing some things to create new things to take with me to new shows. So it was very satisfying. I want to thank the people who put on Icon. It was a great show. And if you came out and saw me at the show and you're checking out this video because you came and saw me at the show, hello, welcome. Thank you for checking out my comic and my vlog. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching as always. And you be sure to keep your stick on the ice.